Have you ever wondered what air sealing might save on your energy bills? To start off our calculator series, I'm going to show you how to do just that. Now, what is air sealing? It's basically sealing up the gaps, cracks, and openings in your home to prevent air from leaking in or out. In the building science world, we call that exfiltration or infiltration. It's not widely known, but this is one of the best and most affordable projects you can do to save on your energy bills at home. We typically look at this as we're doing an energy audit first, and then later on we look at insulation, HVAC, hot water heater, windows, and other ways to save on energy efficiency. And then maybe most importantly, we do solar energy last, where we want to save more energy first, and then we produce energy from renewables later on. It's a lot like being in a leaky boat where, in the case of a home, air is leaking in or out all the time, and your HVAC system is just fighting to keep the temperature at whatever you set at. And so any losses in heat transfer or air leaking in or out is money that we're paying for constantly, all day, every day. And so the more we can seal it up in a healthy way, and that's for another video, the more energy we can save and the more money we can save. So how do we figure out how much you can really save by doing some air sealing work? This is a calculator I built, and I started using the model that EnergyStar did with their studies based on the amount of savings you can have with air sealing and insulation projects in different climate zones. But I took that data, broke it up by state, and then I also added a place where you can add in your own energy bills. And then I also, because this is about finance, it's about environmental savings and money, I wanted to really include inflation rates and also what your real return on investment looks like, so you can get a clear picture on how powerful this project can really be. So let's get into it. I've included the link to the calculator below in the description, or you can go to attainablehome.com and click the calculators up at the top menu. So once you get to the page, you can scroll down a little bit to where it says Home Air Sealing Savings Calculator. And we're going to need a little bit of your information. To start with, we need to know what you spend on average per month on your utility bill. The most accurate way to do this is to add up all the last 12 months of your bill and then divide by 12. And that'll give you your average monthly rate. Or if you have a good idea in your head of what you spend per month, just enter that number there. I'm going to enter $225 as an average kind of home here in Colorado. And that brings us to the next box. You'll want to click, or you'll want to find your state and enter it there. And that's important because the EnergyStar data that we're pulling from actually has different savings by climate zone. So we're getting as close as possible to your specific climate zone, which will affect the amount that you're saving from air sealing. The next box is, how leaky do you think your home is? If you don't know, or if you're not sure on this, just leave it at moderate or unsure. If your home is pretty leaky, or if you have rooms, say, that are hotter or colder than other rooms, or if you have known drafts throughout the house, that could be a good indicator that your house is pretty leaky. And so we apply a multiplier factor to that, and you can say very leaky or drafty. On the other side of that, if your home is very airtight, or if you've known, if it's known that the builder did a great job at sealing the building envelope or something to that effect, pick very airtight, and then we reduce the amount of savings you'll actually get based on the average numbers. But for this example, I'm just going to use moderate, unsure. What's nice about this calculator is that it updates automatically for any input that you enter. So you can kind of play with it if you like. And then the last box we have here is the cost of materials and labor to air seal. Now, this is going to vary widely based on your specific home, what you actually need to do for air sealing, and who's doing it. For instance, I did my 2 net zero home renovation projects for probably $50 to $100, and that's a bunch of caulk and canned spray foam that you can get at Lowe's or Home Depot. or Amazon, pretty much anywhere. And you can DIY this yourself, and that'll make a huge difference. And so for that case, the average there, I'm just going to put say $75 if you have a bigger home, and you can click these arrows and it goes up and down as well. We'll just pick $80 for DIYing it. Now, if you go for an actual energy audit and they come up with a lot of air sealing measures, you may want to hire this out and not crawl around in the attic and so forth to do it yourself. But hiring it out could cost hundreds of dollars, even $1,000, $2,000. It just depends. But anyway, you can enter that number here and play with it to see what your savings are. Now, it's not necessarily about your savings, but I like to think of it more in finance terms with return on investment over time and what you're actually getting for money spent. You will get more comfort. You will get lower maintenance costs with the HVAC system because it's working less and so forth. But what is this effort really showing? And that's kind of the powerful part of the output of this calculator. Now, once we've entered all of our data, you'll see the outputs or calculations below if you're on mobile, or on the right side if you're on a desktop. And you'll see, to start with, monthly and energy costs that you're spending right now on the utility bill. And the next section will be the heating and cooling savings potential and the total home savings potential. And this is based on your state and climate zone. The EnergyStar studies and case studies actually include air sealing and insulating together. Now, what I did is take just 50% of that data, and that's what you're seeing for the percentage there. This is as accurate as we can kind of get as a generic calculation. We're just assuming air sealing alone might be 50% of those savings, and that's what we're doing here. But every house is different, and the proper way to do this is to get an official energy audit done by BPI certified energy auditor or building scientist or EnergyStar auditor or something similar. And they can really get down to what your savings potential could be with energy modeling, potentially. But then we have the outputs in green here. So based on the information you entered, it shows the estimated monthly savings, the estimated yearly savings, and then the return on investment. It says year one savings divided by air sealing costs. And that basically means, what are we getting on our money that we spent in year one? So in this example, if I were to DIY my house and just have a bunch of caulk and spray foam and maybe some foam board and things like that, $80, we're saving $216 a year, and that's divided by $80. So we're actually getting a return on investment of 270% in year one. And then the last number is, it shows your monthly utility bill after you do some air sealing work, which is basically your current bill minus the $18 you'd save per month in this example. Now, to run through a quick example on the higher end, for instance, back in Florida where I did my projects, it's not uncommon to have energy bills of $400 a month. But when you change your state, the air sealing and HVAC cooling savings also adjust. For this example, I'm going to change the house to very leaky and drafty, where it adjusts the numbers again. So in this example, we're spending $400 a month right now. The calculator shows we can save about $27 a month, which is $324 per year. And our average return on investment, if we were to also DIY that project, is just over 400%. And so these ROI numbers are really, really good. And there's not much around where you can get 400% on your money, which is why I wanted to build this calculator, to show the potential for savings. And then if you scroll down, you can play with those numbers there. But if you scroll down, these are interactive graphs where I include monthly savings. And now this is where inflation is pulled into it. So if we have a 3.5% inflation rate, which is where estimates are kind of right now, we have the monthly savings adjusted for inflation, which increases over the years. And then we also have the yearly savings graph. And then the green bar here is the cumulative savings. And so, for instance, the average homeowner stays in their home where they are for about 7 years. By spending $80 right now, you'll save over 7 years $2,520 or $2,520. That's how crazy air sealing savings can be. And yes, these are real numbers. And if you go down in the table, these are the actual numbers, just in table form, so you can see it how you like. But it really adds up. And so we go all the way to 10 years. And this is another version of a return on investment chart that I wanted to include, where I show you the return on investment in percentage form after you spend the initial amount. And so year one, you get 405, but it just stacks onto each other, where year 7, you're getting 3,000% return on investment. And then year 10, upwards of 5,000%. It's ridiculous savings, but that's why in the building science world and energy auditing, we love air sealing so much. So that's the air sealing calculator. I hope you like it. Feel free to play around with it. Let me know what questions you have below, and thanks for watching.